Eli Carter stood in his sleek Manhattan penthouse, the skyline glittering through floor-to-ceiling windows. At 32, he was the poster child for tech success, a self-made millionaire whose startup, Nexus AI, had disrupted the industry. His wedding to Vivian Lang, heiress to a fashion dynasty, was days away, set against the Amalfi Coast's sun-drenched cliffs. The guest list lay on his glass desk, a curated roster of power players. His best man, Marcus, leaned back in a leather chair, sipping bourbon. "You sure about this, man?" Marcus asked, tapping the list. "Naomi Hill? Your college ex? That's playing with fire." Eli smirked, loosening his tie. "It's not like that. I want her to see me now. The life I built. She'll get it. Closure." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "Closure for who? You ghosted her, bro, 6 years ago. You think she's just gonna clap for your glow-up?" Eli paced, his polished loafers clicking on the hardwood. He hadn't seen Naomi since their breakup at 24, when he'd chosen a seed investment in Singapore over their relationship. He'd left without a word, chasing ambition. Now, with his wedding to Vivian splashed across tabloids, inviting Naomi felt like tying up a loose end. Or maybe proving something. "She won't even show," Eli said, more to himself. "She's probably married, living some quiet life in Brooklyn." Marcus snorted. "You checked her Instagram, didn't you?" Eli froze, caught. "Once. She's a freelance editor now. Posts about books, not much else." "Aha. And you're sure Vivian's cool with this?" Eli waved it off. "Vivian doesn't need to know every detail of my past. It's one guest out of 300. Marcus leaned forward, serious now. "Eli, you're about to marry a woman who owns half the fashion world. Her family's got spies everywhere. If Naomi shows up and makes a scene—" "She won't," Eli snapped, but doubt crept into his voice. He remembered Naomi's fire, her sharp wit, the way she'd call him out without hesitation. What if she did come? What would she say? He pushed the thought aside, scribbling Naomi's name onto the RSVP list. The invitation would go out tomorrow, an elegant cream envelope with gold-embossed script, addressed to a woman he hadn't spoken to in years. As Marcus droned on about logistics, Eli stared out at the city, wondering why his chest felt tight. Naomi Hill sat cross-legged on her Brooklyn apartment's worn rug, surrounded by manuscripts and empty coffee mugs. Her one bedroom was cozy but cluttered, a testament to her life as a single mom and freelance editor. At 31, she was sharper than ever, her dark curls pulled into a messy bun, her brown eyes scanning the wedding invitation in her hand. The Amalfi Coast. Eli Carter. Vivian Lang. The words felt like a punch. "Mommy, why you sad?" Ezra, one of her 5-year-old twins, looked up from his coloring book. His brother Elias echoed, "Yeah, why?" Naomi forced a smile. "I'm not sad, babies. Just thinking." The twins, identical, with Eli's hazel eyes and dimples, returned to their crayons. Naomi traced the invitation's edge. 6 years ago, Eli had been her everything. Late-night talks about startups, dreams of a shared future. Then he'd vanished, leaving her pregnant and alone. She hadn't chased him. She'd built a life instead, for her and her boys. But now, this. Her phone buzzed. A text from her best friend, Lila. "You're not actually going, right? He doesn't deserve your time." Naomi typed back, "I don't know yet." Lila called immediately. "Naomi, what? You're considering flying to Italy for the guy who ghosted you." "It's not about him," Naomi said, glancing at the boys. "It's about them. He should know." "Know what? That he's a dad?" "Girl, he didn't care enough to stick around. Why give him that power now?" Naomi stood, pacing to the window. Brooklyn buzzed below. Taxis, laughter, life. It's not power. It's truth. Ezra and Elias deserve a father who at least knows they exist. If he rejects them again, that's on him. Lila sighed. "And if he tries to play hero? Or worse, denies it. Then I'll handle it. Like I always have. Naomi hung up, her decision crystallizing. She wouldn't go for revenge or nostalgia. She'd go because secrets had a way of festering, and her sons deserved better than a shadow. She booked 3 plane tickets that night, her hands shaking as she packed their tiny suitcases. Vivian Lang stood in her bridal suite at the Amalfi Coast Villa, a vision in silk pajamas, her blonde hair cascading over her shoulders. At 29, she was the darling of the fashion world, her family's empire synonymous with elegance. The wedding was her masterpiece, every detail curated, from the cliffside venue to the imported orchids. She flipped through a tabloid, unbothered by the headlines about her tech prince fiancé. Her assistant, Clara, bustled in. The planners asking about the guest list. One name's flagged, Naomi Hill. No +1, but she's bringing kids. Vivian frowned. Kids? At my wedding. Clara shrugged. She RSVP'd for 3. Twins, I think. Vivian set the magazine down. Who is she, anyway? Elias sighed. The planner said she's an old friend. From college. Vivian's eyes narrowed. Eli rarely talked about his past, but she'd sensed gaps in his stories. Find out more, she said. I don't like surprises. Clara nodded, leaving Vivian to her thoughts. She walked to the balcony, the Mediterranean sparkling below. Eli was perfect on paper. Charming, driven, the kind of man her parents approved of. But their chemistry was polite. She'd ignored it, chalking it up to wedding stress. Now, this Naomi Hill gnawed at her. She called Eli. Hey, darling, she purred. Who's Naomi Hill? A pause. Just an old friend, Eli said, too casual. From NYU. Why? She's bringing kids to our wedding. You didn't mention her before. Didn't think it mattered, he said quickly. She's just someone I knew. Vivian's jaw tightened. Right. Well, I'll meet her tomorrow, I suppose. She hung up, unease settling in. The planner, Sophia, approached later with a tablet. Naomi Hills checked into the hotel. Single mom, freelance editor. Low profile. Vivian nodded, her smile tight. Keep an eye on her. Naomi sat in the dimly lit plane cabin, the hum of engines lulling Ezra and Elias to sleep beside her. Their heads rested on her lap, their curls identical to Eli's. She clutched the wedding invitation, now creased from her grip. The flight to Naples felt endless, each mile pulling her closer to a reckoning she wasn't sure she was ready for. A woman in the next seat, middle-aged with kind eyes, smiled. Your boys are adorable. Visiting family. Naomi hesitated. Something like that. They look like their dad, the woman said, nodding at their hazel eyes. You must be proud. Naomi's throat tightened. Yeah. They're special. The woman chattered on, oblivious, about her own family reunions. Naomi half listened, her mind on Eli. She'd seen his Instagram post, a candid of him and Vivian laughing on a yacht. He looked happy. Untouchable. Would he even care about the boys? Her phone pinged. A tagged photo from JFK, her and the twins at the gate. A friend had captioned it, Off to Italy. Adventure awaits. Naomi's stomach dropped. If Eli saw it. In New York, Eli was at a rooftop bar with Marcus when his phone buzzed. He opened the notification, and there she was, Naomi, older but still striking, with 2 boys who looked eerily like him. His glass slipped, shattering on the floor. Yo, you okay? Marcus asked. Eli didn't answer, his pulse racing. He hadn't expected her to come. Not really. And those kids? He shook his head, downing his drink. She's here, he muttered. Who? Naomi. Eli nodded, eyes distant. She's got kids, Marcus. Kids. Marcus whistled. You think? I don't know, Eli snapped. I need to see her. The welcome dinner was a spectacle. White linen tables on a villa terrace, fairy lights twinkling against the Amalfi sunset. Guests mingled, champagne flutes in hand, as a string quartet played. Eli stood beside Vivian, delivering a toast, his voice smooth but his mind elsewhere. Then the crowd parted, and there she was. Naomi walked in, her simple black dress a contrast to the glittering gowns. Flanking her were Ezra and Elias, in tiny blazers, their hazel eyes scanning the room. Whispers rippled. "Who's that? Those kids look like Eli." Vivian, oblivious, leaned in. "Who's the one with the twins?" Eli's throat went dry. "Just a friend." Naomi's gaze met his, steady and unreadable. The boys tugged at her hands, pointing at the dessert table. She smiled at them, but her eyes flicked back to Eli, a silent challenge. He set his glass down, excusing himself. "Be right back," he told Vivian, who frowned but nodded. He caught up to Naomi near the buffet, where the boys were grabbing cookies. "Naomi," he said, voice low. "You came." She turned, her expression cool. "You invited me." He glanced at the twins, his heart pounding. "They're mine," she said firmly. "And we're not here to make a scene. Enjoy your wedding, Eli." She moved to walk away, but he grabbed her arm gently. "Wait, can we talk? Please." Naomi looked at his hand, then his face. "Not tonight. This is your moment. Don't ruin it." The boys ran back, one holding a cookie triumphantly. "Mom, look," Ezra said. Eli knelt instinctively, smiling. "Nice choice, buddy." Ezra grinned, Eli's grin. The resemblance hit like a freight train. Guests stared. Vivian watched from across the terrace, her smile fading. The Amalfi Coast villa glowed under moonlight, its terrace now quiet as the welcome dinner wound down. Naomi stood alone on a secluded balcony, the sea breeze tugging at her dress. She gripped the railing, replaying the moment Eli's eyes locked on Ezra and Elias. His shock was undeniable, but so was his denial. She hadn't come for drama, but the truth was a weight she could no longer carry alone. Footsteps broke her thoughts. Eli approached, his tie loosened, champagne flute abandoned. "Naomi," he started, voice low but urgent. "We need to talk." She turned, her expression steel. "You invited me, Eli. What did you expect?" He ran a hand through his hair, pacing. "I didn't expect them." He gestured vaguely toward the villa, where the twins were with a sitter. "Are they?" "They're yours," she cut in, her voice flat, final. "Ezra and Elias. 5 years old. Born 9 months after you left." Eli froze, his face paling. "You're sure?" Naomi's laugh was bitter, sharp. "You think I'd fly across the world to lie? I was 24, Eli. You promised me forever, then vanished for your startup. I didn't chase you. I had to survive." He flinched, defensive. "You could have told me. A call, an email, anything." "You ghosted me," she snapped, stepping closer. "No forwarding address, no response to my texts. You wanted a life without strings? You got it. I raised them alone." Eli's jaw tightened. "I didn't know, Naomi. I was building something." "For yourself," she interrupted. "And now you're here, marrying a fashion princess, acting like the past didn't happen." He looked away, the sea reflecting his guilt. "I thought you'd moved on. I didn't think." "You didn't think," she echoed, softer now, tired. "But they're here, Eli. They're real. And they're yours." He met her gaze, his voice barely a whisper. "What do you want from me?" Naomi shook her head. "I don't want anything. I came because they deserve a father who knows they exist. What you do with that is up to you." She walked away, leaving him alone with the crashing waves and a truth he couldn't outrun. Vivian Lang sat in her bridal suite, the glow of her phone casting shadows across her face. The villa's opulence, marble floors, silk drapes, felt suffocating tonight. She'd smiled through the dinner, played the perfect bride, but Eli's absence during his own toast hadn't gone unnoticed. Nor had the woman with the twins. Naomi Hill. Vivian's gut churned. She scrolled through Eli's old college photos, unearthed from a mutual friend's Instagram. There it was, Eli and Naomi, arms around each other, laughing at some NYU party. Her heart sank. He'd called Naomi an old friend. A lie. Clara, her assistant, knocked softly. "You okay, Viv?" Vivian didn't look up. "Who is she, Clara?" "Really?" Clara hesitated, sitting on the velvet ottoman. "Naomi Hill. Freelance editor. Lives in Brooklyn. Single mom to twins. That's all I've got." "And Eli?" Vivian's voice was sharp. "What's his story with her?" Clara shrugged. "He's cagey. The planner said they dated in college. Broke up when he moved to Singapore." Vivian's fingers tightened around her phone. "And he invited her to our wedding." Clara nodded, cautious. "Maybe it's nothing. Closure, you know." Vivian laughed. Cold. "Closure doesn't look like that. Did you see him with her tonight?" He couldn't take his eyes off those kids. Clara leaned forward. "Viv, you're jumping to conclusions. Talk to him." Vivian stood, pacing to the balcony. The sea glittered below, mocking her calm. She dialed Eli. He answered on the third ring, voice strained. "Hey, darling. Who's Naomi Hill?" she asked, no preamble. A pause. "I told you, an old friend from NYU. With twins who look like you." Her voice rose. "Eli, I'm not stupid. What's going on?" He sighed. "It's complicated, Viv. I'll explain tomorrow." "Explain now," she demanded, "or I'm calling off this circus." Eli's voice cracked. "She's my ex. From college. The kids. I don't know yet. I just found out." Vivian's breath caught. "Found out what?" "That they might be mine," he admitted. The phone slipped from her hand, clattering to the floor. Clara rushed over, but Vivian waved her away. The lie wasn't just Eli's past, it was her future unraveling. The rehearsal dinner unfolded in the villa's grand dining hall, chandeliers casting a warm glow over linen-clad tables. Guests laughed, clinked glasses, and toasted the couple, but the air was thick with unspoken questions. Naomi sat at the friends' table, her black dress understated yet drawing eyes. Ezra and Elias, in tiny bow ties, giggled over their pasta, oblivious to the storm brewing. Across the room, Eli stood beside Vivian, his smile forced. Guests kept glancing at the twins, whispering. "They look just like him," one woman murmured. "Same dimples," another agreed. Naomi overheard, her stomach twisting. She focused on cutting Elias's food, ignoring the stares. A guest, an older man in a tailored suit, leaned over. "Your boys are charming. They remind me of Eli when he was young." Naomi forced a smile. "Thank you. They're special." At the head table, Eli's mother, Diane, watched the twins with narrowed eyes. She pulled Eli aside during a break in the toasts. "Those boys," she said, voice low. "They're Naomi's, yes?" Eli nodded, avoiding her gaze. "Yeah." Diane's lips pursed. "Are you sure they're not yours?" He shrugged, too casual. "No idea, Mom. It's been years." Her eyes bore into him. "Eli, don't play dumb. I saw their faces. You need to figure this out before it blows up." He glanced at Naomi, who was laughing with Ezra over a spilled juice. "I'm handling it," he muttered. Vivian, catching the exchange, excused herself from a conversation. She approached Naomi's table, her smile polished but icy. "Naomi, right? I'm Vivian. The boys are adorable." Naomi met her gaze, unflinching. "Thank you. They're my world." Vivian's eyes flicked to the twins, then back. "They look so much like Eli." Funny coincidence, isn't it? Naomi's jaw tightened, but she kept her tone even. Not really. The table fell silent, the tension palpable. Vivian's smile didn't waver, but her eyes burned. The elephant in the room had just roared. The villa's garden was a maze of lemon trees and blooming jasmine, a quiet escape from the dinner's chaos. Naomi let Ezra and Elias run ahead, their laughter echoing as they chased fireflies. She needed air, space to process Eli's confrontation and Vivian's veiled jab. But then she saw him, Eli, kneeling in the grass, talking to her boys. "Hey, buddy, what's that?" Eli pointed at a firefly in Ezra's hand. "It's a glow bug," Ezra said, grinning. "You ever catch one?" Eli chuckled, the sound achingly familiar. "When I was your age, yeah. My dad taught me." Elias tilted his head. "You laugh like me." Naomi's heart clenched. She stood frozen, watching from the shadows. Eli looked up, meeting her eyes, his expression a mix of awe and fear. He stood, brushing grass from his knees. "They're incredible, Naomi." "They are," she said, voice tight. "Don't confuse them, Eli. They don't know who you are." He nodded, swallowing hard. I wanted to see them. Up close." Ezra tugged Eli's sleeve. "Wanna catch more bugs?" Eli hesitated, glancing at Naomi. She gave a slight nod, reluctant but soft. He knelt again, helping Elias cup a firefly. "Gentle like this," he said, his voice tender. Naomi watched, her resolve wavering. This was the Eli she'd loved, gentle, present. But he wasn't theirs. Not yet. Maybe not ever. A guest wandered by, snapping a photo. "Cute moment," she called, oblivious. Naomi's stomach dropped. That photo would spread. She stepped forward. "Boys, time to go." Eli stood, his eyes pleading. "Can I see them again?" "Tomorrow." Naomi sighed. "We'll see." As she led the twins away, Eli watched, the weight of fatherhood sinking in. He didn't know how to be a dad, but he wanted to try. The next morning, the villa buzzed with pre-wedding preparations, but Eli was distracted, holed up in a private lounge with Naomi. The paternity test kit sat between them, a sterile promise of truth. Eli had pushed for it, desperate for clarity. Naomi agreed, not for herself, she knew, but for him. "It's fast track," Eli said, reading the kit's instructions. "Results in 48 hours. Naomi crossed her arms. "I don't need a test to tell me what I lived through. But if it helps you sleep, fine." Eli met her gaze, earnest. "I'm not doubting you, Naomi. I need to know. For sure." She nodded, her expression unreadable. "For the boy's sake, I hope you're ready for what it says." The wedding planner, Sophia, knocked, her face tight. "Eli, Vivian's asking for you. She's upset." Eli sighed. "Tell her I'll be there soon." Sophia lingered, lowering her voice. "She knows about Naomi. And the twins. She's not happy." Naomi raised an eyebrow. "That's your mess, not mine." Eli ignored Sophia, focusing on Naomi. "Can we do this now?" "The test." She nodded, calling the boys in from the hallway. Ezra and Elias bounded in, curious. Naomi knelt, explaining gently. "The doctor needs a quick cheek swab, okay? It's like brushing your teeth." Elias giggled. "Does it tickle?" "A little," Eli said, surprising himself with a smile. The nurse swabbed the boys, then Eli, sealing the samples. As she left, Sophia's phone pinged. She glanced at it, paling. "Eli, you need to see this." She showed him a text from a tabloid journalist. "Got a tip about your ex and twins. Story drops tonight unless you comment." Eli cursed under his breath. "How did they?" Sophia hesitated. "I might have mentioned something to a friend. I didn't think it'd spread." Naomi stood, furious. You're unbelievable. This isn't a game, it's my kids' lives. Eli turned to her, desperate. I'll fix this. I promise. Naomi shook her head. Fix your wedding, Eli. Then maybe we'll talk. As she left with the twins, Sophia's phone buzzed again. The storm was coming, and Eli was out of time. The Amalfi Coast villa, once a haven of elegance, now buzzed with chaos. Paparazzi swarmed the gates, their cameras flashing like vultures circling prey. Inside, Eli paced the private lounge, his phone lighting up with notifications. The headline had dropped, Millionaire Groom's Wedding Scandal, Secret Twins Crash Italian Ceremony. The article, leaked by the wedding planner's careless text, detailed Naomi's arrival with Ezra and Elias, complete with blurry photos from the welcome dinner. Eli's PR team was in overdrive, but the damage was done. Marcus burst in, holding his tablet. Eli, this is a disaster. Investors are calling. The board's freaking out. Eli rubbed his temples. I didn't know, Marcus. She told me last night. Marcus scoffed. You invited her. What did you think would happen? I thought she'd say no. Eli snapped, slamming his phone down. I didn't know about the kids. Marcus softened, sitting across from him. Okay, man, let's think. What's the plan? Deny it. Confirm it. Eli shook his head. The test results aren't in yet. I can't say anything. Downstairs, Naomi shielded Ezra and Elias in their hotel suite, drawing the curtains. Her phone buzzed with messages from Lila. Girl, you're trending. Get out of there. Naomi ignored it, kneeling to distract the boys with a puzzle. A knock interrupted her. It was Sophia, the planner, wringing her hands. Naomi, I'm so sorry, Sophia stammered. I didn't mean for this to happen. I just mentioned it to a friend. Naomi's eyes blazed. You mentioned my kids to a tabloid? Do you have any idea what you've done? Sophia flinched. I'll fix it. I'll call them retract. Fix it. Naomi cut in, voice low but lethal. My sons are 5. They don't deserve their faces plastered online. Sophia backed away, mumbling apologies. Naomi shut the door, her hands shaking. Outside, a reporter shouted, Naomi, are the twins Eli Carters? She ignored them, focusing on Elias's question about the noisy people. Meanwhile, Vivian locked herself in her suite, scrolling through the article. Her mother, Celeste Lang, called. Vivian, this is humiliating. Cancel the wedding. Vivian's voice was steady but cold. I'm handling it, Mother. Are you? Because the world thinks your fiancé has a secret family. Vivian hung up, her resolve hardening. The scandal wasn't just Eli's, it was hers now. Naomi sat with Eli in a quiet corner of the villa's library, the scent of old books a stark contrast to the chaos outside. The twins were with a sitter, giving her space to breathe and to talk. Eli had begged for this meeting, his face etched with guilt. Naomi didn't want to relive the past, but he needed to hear it. Start from the beginning, Eli said, his voice soft. Please. Naomi leaned back, her arms crossed. You left, Eli. No warning, no goodbye. I found out I was pregnant a month later. Alone. He winced. I didn't know. You didn't want to, she said, her tone even but piercing. I called you. Texted. Nothing. I was 24, scared, and broke. I moved back to Brooklyn, worked odd jobs, edited manuscripts at night. Then the twins came. Eli's eyes dropped to his hands. Was it hard? She laughed, dry and humorless. Hard. I had postpartum depression. No family nearby. No partner. I'd wake up at 3 a.m., terrified I'd fail them. But I didn't. I built a life. For them. He looked up, his voice breaking. Why didn't you try harder to find me? Naomi's gaze hardened. I shouldn't have had to. You chose your path. I chose mine. I protected Ezra and Elias from a father who might have rejected them. Eli leaned forward, desperate. I wouldn't have. If I'd known. Wouldn't you? She interrupted. You were building your empire. Kids didn't fit your plan. He fell silent, the truth cutting deep. Naomi softened slightly. They're incredible, Eli. Funny, curious, kind. But they're mine. I didn't come here to hand them over. I came so you'd know the truth. Eli nodded, his eyes glistening. I don't know how to fix this. You don't, she said simply. You just decide what happens next. As she stood to leave, Eli called after her. Naomi, thank you for raising them. She paused, then walked out, leaving him with the weight of 6 lost years. Vivian stood on the villa's cliffside terrace, the Mediterranean a turbulent mirror of her mood. The press conference was her idea, a bold move to reclaim control. Reporters gathered below, cameras rolling, as she stepped to the podium in a tailored white dress, her face composed but fierce. Eli stood backstage, pleading silently, but she ignored him. Thank you for coming, Vivian began, her voice clear. I'm here to address the speculation about my wedding. Effective immediately, the ceremony is cancelled. Gasps rippled through the crowd. A reporter shouted, Is it because of Naomi Hill and her twins? Vivian's smile was razor-sharp. It's because I deserve a partner who values honesty. I won't be a trophy wife, and I won't raise another woman's children in a marriage built on secrets. The internet exploded. #VivianWalks trended within minutes, splitting viewers, half praising her strength, half sympathizing with Naomi's story. Eli approached her as she stepped off stage, his face ashen. Viv, please, he said. We can fix this. She spun on him, eyes blazing. Fix what, Eli? You lied. You invited your ex, didn't tell me about her kids, who look like you, and now the world knows before I do. I didn't know about them until yesterday, he protested. And that's supposed to make it better, she snapped. You broke us, Eli. Not her. Not those kids. You. She walked away, her heels clicking on the stone path. Clara caught up, whispering, You sure about this? Vivian nodded, her jaw set. I'm done playing second to his past. Backstage, Eli sank into a chair, Marcus at his side. She's right, man, Marcus said. You screwed this up. Eli buried his face in his hands. What do I do now? Marcus shrugged. Figure out who you are. Groom. Father. Both. The question hung unanswered as Vivian's car sped away, leaving the wedding in ruins. Naomi sat on the hotel suite's balcony, the twins curled up on a wicker couch with their stuffed animals. The paparazzi had retreated, but the weight of the day lingered. Ezra and Elias, usually chatterboxes, were quiet, sensing her tension. The cancelled wedding was all over the news, and Naomi knew questions were coming. Ezra broke the silence, his voice small. Mom, is that man our dad? Naomi's heart stopped. She'd rehearsed this moment 1,000 times, but it still felt like a cliff's edge. Elias looked up, echoing, Yeah, is he? She knelt before them, taking their hands. His name is Eli. And yes, he's your dad. They stared, processing. Elias tilted his head. Why didn't he live with us? Naomi swallowed, choosing her words carefully. Sometimes grown-ups make choices that hurt people, even if they don't mean to. Eli had to go away for work when you were born. I raised you because I love you more than anything. Ezra frowned. Is he staying now? Naomi's chest ached. I don't know, baby. That's up to him. Elias hugged his stuffed bear tighter. Does he like us? She smiled, brushing his cheek. He just met you, but I think he wants to. He's figuring it out. A knock interrupted. It was Lila, who'd flown in after the tabloid storm. She hugged Naomi tightly. You okay? Barely, Naomi admitted, glancing at the boys. They asked about him. Lila sighed, sitting beside them. Hey, kiddos, you know your mom's a superhero, right? She's got this. Ezra grinned faintly. Like Wonder Woman? Exactly, Lila said, winking. Naomi stepped aside with Lila, lowering her voice. I don't know how to navigate this. What if he wants in? Or worse, walks away again? Lila squeezed her arm. You're not alone anymore. Whatever he does, you and those boys are enough. Naomi nodded, but the uncertainty lingered as the twins' questions echoed in her mind. Eli stood outside Naomi's hotel suite, the Amalfi night heavy with salt and regret. The cancelled wedding had left him untethered, his pristine life in shambles. He'd sent his PR team away, ignored Marcus's calls. This wasn't about damage control, it was about facing the truth. He knocked, his heart pounding. Naomi opened the door, her expression guarded. What do you want, Eli? To talk, he said, no charm, no pretense. No cameras. No agenda. Just us. She hesitated, then stepped aside. The twins were asleep in the next room, their toys scattered. Eli glanced at them, his throat tightening. I'm sorry, he began, sitting across from her. For leaving. For not knowing. For all of it. Naomi crossed her arms. Sorry doesn't erase 6 years. I know, he said, leaning forward. I was selfish. I thought I was chasing a dream, but I left you, left them, behind. I don't know how to be a dad, Naomi, but I want to try. She studied him, skeptical. Try how? You're a CEO. Your life's in boardrooms, not playgrounds. He nodded, unflinching. I'll figure it out. I just want to know them. Ezra and Elias. If you'll let me. Naomi's eyes softened, but her voice stayed firm. This isn't about you, Eli. It's about them. They're not props for your redemption arc. I get that, he said, his voice raw. I'm not asking for forgiveness. Or us. Just time. To be their dad, if they'll have me. She looked away, the sea whispering outside. We'll start small. Visits. Calls. But if you disappear again, Eli, I won't forgive you. He nodded, relief flickering. I won't. I swear. As he left, Naomi watched him go, torn between hope and fear. The future was uncertain, but for the first time, Eli wasn't running. Back in Brooklyn, autumn leaves swirled outside Naomi's apartment, a cozy one-bedroom now crowded with the weight of new realities. Eli had rented a nearby loft, determined to be part of Ezra and Elias's lives. Today was his first official Dad Day, a supervised visit at Prospect Park. Naomi watched from a bench as Eli pushed the twins on swings, their giggles piercing the crisp air. He was awkward, his tailored jacket out of place among strollers and sneakers, but he tried. Naomi's heart tugged, hope and caution at war. Eli glanced over, catching her eye. Am I doing this right? He called, half joking. Naomi smirked, walking closer. You're pushing a swing, not coding an app. Relax. Ezra squealed. Higher, Eli. Elias echoed. Yeah, higher. Eli laughed, pushing gently. You guys are gonna send me to the gym. Naomi leaned against a tree, arms crossed. They're not fragile, you know. They fall, they get up. He nodded, slowing the swings. I'm learning. It's a lot. They moved to an ice cream cart, the boys smearing chocolate on their faces. Eli handed them napkins, fumbling. So, what's their favorite flavor? Mint chip, Naomi said. But they'll eat anything sweet. Eli grinned, wiping Elias's chin. Noted. I'm keeping a list. Naomi raised an eyebrow. A list? You're such a tech bro. Hey, data's my thing, he teased, but his eyes were earnest. I want to get this right, Naomi. For them. She softened, watching Ezra offer Eli a lick of his cone. "Just be consistent," she said quietly. "They need that more than perfection." Later, at a picnic table, Eli hesitated. "Can I ask, what was it like, raising them alone?" Naomi's gaze drifted to the boys, now chasing a squirrel. "Hard. Lonely. But they made it worth it. Every smile, every 'I love you.' It kept me going." Eli swallowed, guilt flickering. "I should have been there." "Yeah," she said, not sugarcoating it. "But you're here now. Don't waste it." As the boys ran back, Eli stood, ruffling their hair. "Next week, same time?" he asked Naomi. She nodded. "Don't be late." He smiled, a promise in his eyes. But as Naomi led the twins home, she wondered if he'd keep it, or if this was just another phase. A chilly Saturday morning found Naomi scrolling through her phone in her cramped kitchen, coffee cooling beside her. The twins were at a playdate, giving her a rare moment of quiet. Her screen lit up with notifications. A video had gone viral, tech CEO learning to dad. It was Eli, kneeling in a Brooklyn playground, calming Elias during a tantrum. A bystander had captured it, the clip racking up millions of views. Comments swooned. "Heartwarming. Eli Carter's redemption arc." Naomi's stomach churned. She called Lila, who answered mid-laugh. "Girl, your baby daddy's a star." "It's not funny," Naomi said, pacing. "This isn't a movie. It's my kids' lives." Lila sobered. "I know. But the world's eating it up." "He looks good in it, Naomi. Like he's trying." "He's trying for now," she countered. "What happens when the cameras stop?" Eli texted her. Saw the video. "I'm sorry. Didn't know anyone was filming." Naomi typed back, "They're not props, Eli. Be careful." He called immediately. "Naomi, I didn't plan this. I was just there. For Elias." She sighed, leaning against the counter. "I know. But this viral stuff, it's too much. They're 5. They don't need their faces online." "I'll get my team to pull it," he said, urgent. "I'll sue if I have to." "Don't," she said. "That'll just make it bigger. Just keep it real, Eli. No performances." He paused. "I'm not performing. I meant what I said. I want to be their dad." Naomi's throat tightened. "Then prove it. Not to the internet. To them." Later, Eli met her at a cafe to discuss boundaries. The place was crowded, hipsters typing on laptops. He slid into the booth, looking out of place in his crisp blazer. "I talked to my PR guy," he said. "They'll push back on media requests. Protect the boys." Naomi nodded, sipping her latte. "Good. But you need to set rules with yourself, too. No posting them. No interviews." "Done," he said, meeting her eyes. "I'm not here for clout. I'm here for Ezra and Elias." She studied him, searching for cracks. "Okay. But one slip, Eli, and we're done." He nodded, the weight of her trust heavy. Outside, a fan recognized him, snapping a photo. Eli ignored it, focused on Naomi. For once, he seemed real, but the world was still watching. Eli's Manhattan office was a glass empire, all sleek lines and city views. But today, he barely noticed, his mind on Ezra and Elias. He'd turned down a Tokyo deal to attend their soccer game, a first. His board was livid, their emails flooding his inbox. "You're distracted. Nexus needs you." Eli stared at his laptop, then shut it, grabbing his coat. At the Brooklyn field, Naomi watched the twins kick a ball, their tiny cleats muddy. Eli arrived, slightly breathless, swapping his loafers for sneakers. "Made it," he said, grinning. Naomi raised an eyebrow. "No board meeting?" "Told them I'm busy," he said, sitting beside her. "They're not happy." She smirked. "Welcome to parenting. It's not a side hustle." The game was chaotic, 5-year-olds more interested in dandelions than goals. Eli cheered loudly when Ezra scored, earning a shy wave. Naomi watched, surprised by his enthusiasm. After, the twins ran over, sweaty and beaming. "Dad, did you see?" Elias asked, the words slipping out naturally. Eli froze, then grinned. "Yeah, buddy. You're a champ." Naomi's heart skipped. "Dad." She hadn't expected it so soon. Eli caught her eye, his expression soft but nervous. "That okay?" he whispered. She nodded, swallowing. "They chose it, not you." Post-game, they grabbed pizza at a nearby diner. Eli fumbled with napkins, laughing when Elias spilled soda. "You're a mess, kid," he said, ruffling his hair. "Like you." Elias shot back, giggling. Naomi watched, her guard lowering slightly. Later, as the boys colored menus, Eli leaned in. "My board's pushing me to go to Japan. Big deal, big money." Naomi's eyes narrowed. "And I said no," he admitted. "First time I've done that. Felt good." She studied him, skeptical but impressed. "Don't expect a medal. It's what dads do." "I know," he said, earnest. "But I'm trying, Naomi. For real." As they left, Eli's phone buzzed, a board member, furious. He silenced it, choosing the twins' chatter over work. Naomi noticed, a flicker of hope sparking. But trust was fragile, and she wasn't ready to let go of her doubts. Winter crept into Brooklyn, the air sharp as Naomi and Eli co-parented through December. Tonight, they were at her apartment, the twins asleep after a movie night. The living room was warm, fairy lights casting a soft glow. Eli helped clean up popcorn, his sleeves rolled up, a far cry from the polished CEO. Naomi watched, her walls softening despite herself. "Want coffee?" she asked, breaking the silence. "Sure," Eli said, stacking plates. "You make it strong enough to wake the dead." She laughed, a real laugh, surprising them both. Some things don't change. They sat on the couch, mugs in hand, the quiet intimate. Eli glanced at old photos on the shelf. Naomi and the twins, no trace of him. "You did good, Naomi. They're happy." She sipped her coffee, her voice soft. "They are. But it wasn't easy." He nodded, hesitant. "Can I ask, what was our last night like? Before I left?" Naomi's eyes drifted, memories surfacing. "We were at that dive bar near NYU. You talked about your startup, how it'd change the world. I believed in you. We planned a trip to Paris, remember?" Eli's face fell. "I remember. I didn't think I'd leave like that." "But you did," she said, not accusing, just stating. "I waited for you to call. 4 months." He looked down, guilt heavy. "I was an idiot. Chasing something I thought mattered more." She tilted her head. "And now. He met her eyes. "I see what I missed. Not just them, you." Naomi's breath caught, but she shook her head. "Don't, Eli. We're not there. This is about the boys." "I know," he said quickly. "I'm not pushing. Just being honest." She smiled faintly, the first real crack in her armor. "Honesty's a start." They sat in silence, the past and present mingling. As Eli left, he paused at the door. "Thanks for tonight. Felt like old times." Naomi nodded, closing the door, her heart racing. She wasn't ready to trust him, but for the first time, she wanted to. The Brooklyn Elementary School buzzed with the chaos of a Springfield day, a riot of colorful banners and screaming kids under a pale April sky. Naomi stood by a folding table, handing out juice boxes to sweaty first-graders, her eyes tracking Ezra and Elias as they raced across the field. Eli had volunteered to help, a bold move for a man more comfortable in boardrooms than bounce houses. He stood near the sack race, clipboard in hand, looking comically out of place in his pressed chinos and polo. Naomi smirked as he fumbled with a megaphone, his voice crackling. Line up for the relay, kids." The megaphone squealed, and a dozen children laughed. Eli grinned sheepishly, catching Naomi's eye. "This thing hates me," he called. "Stick to tech, Carter," she teased, tossing him a water bottle. "You're scaring them." He jogged over, wiping sweat from his brow. "I'm trying, okay? This is a lot." Naomi handed a juice box to a passing kid, her tone dry. "Welcome to real life. No algorithms here." Eli chuckled, but his eyes were earnest. "I want to be here, Naomi. For them." She nodded, glancing at Ezra, who was tying his shoe with fierce concentration. "They're watching you. Don't just show up right." The day unraveled fast. Eli was supposed to bring snacks for the class, but he'd forgotten, arriving with only a pack of granola bars from his loft. The kids groaned, and Naomi stepped in, pulling extra cookies from her bag. "Rookie mistake," she said, handing them out. Eli winced. "I'm sorry. I thought I had it covered." "You thought granola bars were a hit with 6-year-olds," she said, half laughing. "You've got a lot to learn." He rubbed his neck, sheepish. "Teach me, then. I'm all ears." Before she could respond, the schedule mix-up hit. Eli had misread the volunteer sheet, sending the kids to the wrong activity, tug-of-war instead of the egg race. The teacher, Mrs. Rivera, a no-nonsense woman with a clipboard of her own, cornered him. "Mr. Carter, you had one job," Eli stammered. I thought it was tug-of-war at 11. Naomi overheard, stifling a laugh. She walked over, nudging him. "You're lucky they're having fun anyway." Mrs. Rivera sighed. "Next time, double-check. These kids thrive on structure." As she walked away, Eli turned to Naomi, exasperated. "I'm bombing this, aren't I?" Naomi's laugh broke free, loud and unguarded, echoing across the field. "Oh, Eli, you're a disaster. But you're here. That's something." He grinned, the tension easing. "You laughed. That's a win." "Don't get cocky," she said, but her eyes sparkled. The twins ran over, faces flushed. "Eli, come jump with us." Elias tugged his hand. Naomi watched as Eli joined the bounce house, his awkward hops drawing giggles from the kids. Ezra climbed onto his back, shouting, "You're a horse!" Eli played along, neighing dramatically, and Naomi's heart softened. He was trying, messy, but real. Later, as they packed up, Eli sat beside her on a bench, the twins chasing each other nearby. "I'm sorry about today," he said quietly. "I wanted to impress them. And you." Naomi looked at him, her guard lower than usual. "You don't need to impress us. Just keep showing up. Even when it's messy." He nodded, his voice soft. "I'm not going anywhere." As they walked to the car, Ezra whispered to Naomi, "Eli's fun, even if he forgot the snacks." Naomi smiled, a flicker of hope igniting. But trust was a slow burn, and she wasn't ready to hand it over yet. The hospital waiting room was sterile, its fluorescent lights casting harsh shadows on Naomi's face. She sat rigid, clutching a paper coffee cup, her eyes fixed on the double doors where doctors had taken Elias. He'd collapsed at the park that afternoon, his breathing shallow, his small body limp. Ezra sat beside her, unusually quiet, clutching his stuffed bear. Eli paced nearby, his phone silent for once, his face etched with fear. Naomi's voice was steady but strained. "He's never been this sick. A cold, sure, but this." Eli stopped pacing, kneeling beside her. "What did the doctor say?" "Possible asthma attack," she said, her eyes distant. "They're running tests. He's stable, but—" Eli touched her arm, tentative. "He's tough, Naomi. Like you." She pulled away slightly, her voice sharp. "Don't. I can't handle platitudes right now." He nodded, backing off. "I'm here. Whatever you need." Ezra looked up, his voice small. "Is Elias gonna be okay?" Naomi forced a smile, pulling him close. He's got the best doctors, baby. He'll be fine. Eli sat beside Ezra, hesitant. You know, when I was a kid, I got sick once. Scared my mom half to death. But I pulled through. Elias will too. Ezra nodded, leaning into Naomi. Eli met her eyes, a silent promise passing between them. Hours dragged on, the waiting room a limbo of beeping monitors and muted conversations. Lila arrived, her presence a lifeline. She hugged Naomi tightly. Any news? Naomi shook her head. Still waiting. Lila glanced at Eli, then back. He's been here all night? Yeah, Naomi said, her voice softening. He hasn't left. Lila raised an eyebrow. Didn't expect that. Naomi didn't respond, her focus on the doors. When the doctor finally emerged, she stood, Eli at her side. Mrs. Hill, Elias had a severe asthma attack, the doctor said. He's stable now, on a nebulizer. We'll keep him overnight. Naomi exhaled, tears prickling. Can we see him? Of course, the doctor said. He's asking for you. And his dad. Eli froze, the word hitting hard. Naomi nodded, leading the way. In the hospital room, Elias looked small in the bed, an oxygen mask over his face. He grinned weakly. Mom. Eli. Naomi kissed his forehead. We're here, baby. Eli stood at the foot of the bed, his voice thick. You scared us, kid. Elias giggled faintly. I'm a superhero. Superheroes don't stay down. Eli smiled, his eyes glistening. Damn right. Naomi watched, her heart raw. Later, in the hallway, Eli spoke quietly. I've never been this scared. Not in boardrooms, not ever. Naomi nodded, her voice soft. That's what it means to be a parent. He met her gaze. I'm not running, Naomi. Not this time. She didn't respond, but as they sat by Elias's bed, their hands brushed, a fleeting connection forged in crisis. The night stretched on, binding them as a family, fragile but real. The hospital discharged Elias the next morning, and Naomi brought the twins back to her Brooklyn apartment, the air heavy with relief and unspoken questions. Eli had stayed through the night, sleeping in a chair, his presence a quiet anchor. Now, in her living room, sunlight filtered through the curtains as the twins played with Legos, their chatter a welcome normalcy. Eli sat across from Naomi, his expression serious, a manila envelope in his hand. I've been thinking, he began, his voice low. About the boys. About us. Naomi tensed, setting her coffee down. Us? Eli, we're co-parenting. That's it. He shook his head. Not that. I mean, their future. I had my lawyer draw this up. He slid the envelope across the table. Naomi opened it, her eyes scanning the document. Her breath caught. Full custody. You're offering me full custody. Eli nodded, leaning forward. Not because I'm quitting. Because I trust you, Naomi. You've raised them alone, better than I ever could. If you want it, legally, no strings, I'm okay with that. She stared at him, the paper trembling in her hands. Why? Why now? He looked at the twins, his voice raw. Last night, in that hospital, I realized how little I know about being a dad. You're their world. I'm still learning, and I don't want to mess this up. If you think full custody is best, I'll step back. For them. Naomi's eyes glistened, her voice sharp but shaky. You think I want to cut you out? After everything? No, he said quickly. I want what's right. For Ezra and Elias. You know them better than anyone. She stood, pacing to the window. Brooklyn hummed below, kids on scooters, a distant siren. This isn't about what's right, she said. It's about you being scared. You're offering this because it's easier than committing. Eli flinched, standing too. That's not true. I'm here, Naomi. Every day, every visit. I'm trying. Are you? She challenged, turning to face him. Or is this another way to control the narrative? Sign a paper, walk away clean. He stepped closer, his voice urgent. I'm not walking away. I'm saying I trust you to decide what's best. If that's me in their lives, I'm all in. If it's not, I'll respect it. Naomi's throat tightened, his words hitting deep. She looked at the twins, oblivious, building a Lego tower. They called you Dad, she said softly. They chose you. You don't get to hand that back. Eli's eyes softened, a tear escaping. I don't want to. I want to do right by them. By you. She sat, the document between them. We don't need this, she said, pushing it back. We need you to show up. Every day. No papers, no grand gestures. Just you. He nodded, relief flooding his face. I can do that. Ezra ran over, holding a lopsided Lego car. Eli, look. It's fast like your car. Eli knelt, grinning. Faster, I bet. Wanna race it? As they played, Naomi watched, her heart torn. Eli's offer wasn't about control. It was about love, clumsy but real. She wasn't ready to forgive him, but for the first time, she believed he might stay. The Brooklyn stoop of Naomi's apartment was bathed in the golden glow of a late summer evening, the air thick with the scent of jasmine from a nearby garden. Naomi sat on the steps, her jeans worn, her curls loose, watching Ezra and Elias chase fireflies in the small front yard. Eli had just dropped them off after a day at the zoo, and he lingered, his usual polished demeanor softened by a faded t-shirt and sneakers. The past year of co-parenting had changed him, less CEO, more dad. Naomi felt the shift, but her heart remained cautious. Eli sat beside her, his hands clasped, nervous. Good day today, he said, nodding toward the twins. They loved the giraffes. Naomi smiled faintly. They've been talking about it non-stop. You're getting good at this. He chuckled, but his eyes were serious. Naomi, I've been thinking. About us. Not just the boys, for us. Her breath caught, her guard snapping up. Eli, we've been over this. We're co-parents. That's enough. He shook his head, leaning closer. It's not. I know I messed up, leaving you 6 years ago. I know I don't deserve a second chance. But I'm not that guy anymore. I love you. I never stopped. Naomi stared at him, her heart pounding. The street was quiet, the twins' laughter a soft backdrop. You can't just say that, she said, her voice low. Not after everything. I know, he said, his voice raw. I'm not asking for a ring or a big gesture. I'm asking if we can try again. Slowly. You set the pace. She looked away, the fireflies blinking like stars. I built a life without you, Eli. Me and the boys, we're good. Why risk that? Because we could be better, he said, his eyes locked on hers. I see it in the way you laugh when we're all together, the way you look at me when you think I'm not watching. We're a family, Naomi. We could be more. She swallowed, memories flooding back. College nights, his promises, his absence. But then she saw him now, showing up for soccer games, staying through Elias's hospital scare, choosing them over his empire. What if you leave again? She whispered. He took her hand, gentle but firm. I won't. I've spent a year proving it. I'll spend a lifetime if you let me. Naomi's eyes glistened, her resolve wavering. The twins ran up, Ezra tugging her sleeve. Mom, Eli caught a firefly. Can we keep it? She laughed, brushing a tear away. No, baby. Fireflies need to fly. Eli grinned, releasing the glowing bug. Like your mom said. Freedom's their thing. Naomi looked at him, her voice soft. Okay, Eli. Slowly. We try. But if you hurt them, or me, I'm done. His face lit up, relief and hope mingling. Slowly. I can do that. As the twins chased another firefly, Eli squeezed her hand, the future uncertain but shimmering with possibility. Naomi leaned into him, just slightly, her heart daring to believe. Fall painted Brooklyn in hues of amber and crimson, and Naomi's apartment was now a shared space. Eli had moved in, his sleek Manhattan loft swapped for her cozy, cluttered one-bedroom. It wasn't official, no rings, no papers, but it was real. The living room was a mess of Lego towers and board games, a testament to their new rhythm. Tonight, they sat at the kitchen table, the twins coloring while Naomi chopped vegetables for dinner. Eli stirred a pot of sauce, his sleeves rolled up, a far cry from his tech mogul days. "Careful, you're burning it," Naomi teased, nudging him aside. Eli laughed, handing her the spoon. "You're the chef. I'm just the sous chef." Ezra looked up, crayon in hand. "Dad, you're bad at cooking." Eli gasped, mock offended. "Bad? I'm a pro. Right, Elias?" Elias giggled. "You burned toast yesterday." Naomi burst out laughing, the sound filling the room. Eli grinned, ruffling Elias's hair. "Tough crowd. I'll stick to ordering pizza." The twins cheered, and Naomi shook her head, smiling. "You're spoiling them." "Gotta keep my fans happy," Eli said, winking. Later, after dinner, they sprawled on the couch for family photos. Naomi had bought a Polaroid camera, wanting to capture these moments. Messy, imperfect, theirs. Eli held the camera, snapping a shot of Naomi tickling Ezra, Elias photobombed with a goofy face. The photo printed, blurry but perfect. "Look at us," Eli said, pinning it to the fridge. "The Carter Hill crew." Naomi studied the photo, her heart full. "You're getting sappy, Carter." "Guilty," he said, pulling her close. "I like this. Together." She leaned into him, cautious but content. "It's weird. Good weird, but I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop." He kissed her forehead, his voice soft. "No shoes dropping here. Just us, building something." The twins interrupted, tugging Eli for a bedtime story. Naomi watched as he read the Gruffalo, his voice animated, the boys hanging on every word. Lila stopped by later, catching Naomi alone in the kitchen. "You look happy," Lila said, pouring wine. "Is this for real?" Naomi glanced at Eli, now tucking the boys in. "I think so. He's different. Present." Lila raised her glass. "To new beginnings, then. But I'm still watching him." Naomi clinked her glass, smiling. "Deal." As Eli returned, joining them, Naomi felt the weight of their past lift, replaced by a tentative hope. They weren't perfect, but they were a family, blended, messy, and real. Prospect Park was awash in sunlight, a perfect June day for a wedding. The ceremony was small, intimate, no tabloids, no paparazzi. Just family, friends, and a simple arch of wildflowers. Naomi stood in a flowing ivory dress, her curls loose, her eyes bright. Eli, in a linen suit, looked at her like she was the only person in the world. Ezra and Elias, now 11, stood proudly in matching vests, their hazel eyes, Eli's eyes, shining as they prepared to walk their parents down the aisle. The guests, a mix of Naomi's bookish friends and Eli's reformed tech crowd, sat on wooden chairs, whispering excitedly. Lila, the officiant, grinned from the arch. "Ready, you two?" Naomi nodded, squeezing the twins' hands. "Ready, boys." "Yup," Ezra said, puffing his chest. Elias smirked. "Let's get you married, Mom." Eli laughed, his voice warm. "You heard them. No backing out now." The music started, a soft acoustic guitar, and the twins led Naomi and Eli down the aisle, their steps synchronized. Guests smiled, some dabbing tears. Marcus, Eli's best man, whispered, "You finally got it right, man." At the arch, Lila began. "We're here to celebrate Naomi and Eli, who've walked a long road to this moment. Ezra, Elias, you've got the rings." The boys nodded, handing over simple gold bands. Naomi's eyes locked on Eli's, a silent conversation passing between them. 6 years of pain, growth, and love rebuilt. "Eli, your vows," Lila said. Eli cleared his throat, his voice steady but thick. "Naomi, I lost you once because I was too selfish to see what mattered. You gave me a second chance, not just with you, but with our boys. I promise to show up every day for all of you. No running, no excuses. I love you." Naomi's tears fell, and she laughed softly, wiping them. "Eli, you broke my heart once. But you came back, and you stayed. For Ezra, for Elias, for me. I promise to trust you, to build with you, to love you, messy and all." The twins cheered, and the crowd laughed. Lila grinned. "By the power vested in me, I pronounce you husband and wife. Kiss her, Eli." He did, pulling Naomi close, their lips meeting in a promise sealed by years of redemption. The guests erupted, the twins high-fiving. At the reception, under twinkling lights, Naomi and Eli danced, the boys spinning nearby. "You worth the wait?" Naomi whispered, her cheek against his. Eli smiled, his eyes soft. "You tell me." She kissed him again, whispering, "Worth every second." As the music played, the twins tackled them, laughing, and the family swayed together, a perfect moment in a hard-won story. The world faded, no headlines, just love.